Now, the reason why I showed all of you the 1.18 and the 1.27 is because when a new session clocks in, it automatically inherits what I call it the discovery. So we have Asia to the downside. Now, over here, yeah, London did not inherit Asia's push. London inherited Asia's reversal. Okay, fib from low to the high. The session to session, where is it? The session to session inverse, which is a multi-session play now. It's not, you're not always gonna get a clean Asia and London. Okay, simply because if we measure Asia's range from high to the low, that's almost 850 or 860 pips, which is a significant amount of move, within one session. Enough to have you close the laptop for the week, because if you take the short, if you took the short from here and you held 800 pips, guess what? Good for you. We're done for the day, done for the week, and that's me here for 50 pips every single week. Well, to be honest with you, not every single week, but every other day. We're smashing 800 pips casually, simply because we understand. Okay, we understand that whatever London does, it's not going to be automatically New York inverse. New York is going to obviously inherit London's continuation. So we have a reaction level, we have the reaction points over here to look into. Okay, we're not going to rely on these levels, but we can obviously, if we have longs from London low, we can close our partials, we can close our exposures, and then step away, come back later on, come back tomorrow London. We need Asia to print in order to understand London and New York delivery. Okay, it's all about understanding, which session is going to be the delivery session. In order to understand that, we need to understand what is happening over here. Okay, and that's exactly what I'm here to do. I'm here to bring some clarity to all of you. We have Asia and London inverse. The inverse is still pending because the high here, which is the reference point, which we marked out, is still open. Now, London has positioned itself for New York to push higher. Cool. Down the road, I'm going to show you in the upcoming recordings. I'm going to show you how the high may not even be penetrated, simply because it could be protected. Okay, and we could simply just see London and New York push. So that is going to be in recording Delta. So recording Delta. Okay, right now we are still working our way. Right now I'm still showing you how to map out sessions before we move over to the ATAS platform. And when we do move, when you do qualify and work your way towards the ATAS platform, you will then have to be ready for being extremely proactive in this game on a daily basis, because you can't afford to sit out when you've got huge moves pending every session. Okay, look at Asia. Asia drops 800 pips. London pulls off the 1.27, 700 pips. These are easy moves to catch, And right now we've got London and New York, and we can see that New York came off the London high, 1-2 push. Okay, New York low also sits over here, which we can see it's bouncing off. Okay, but you have to look at the overall market mechanics. That cool. This low is here. That doesn't mean that the market is gonna respect and continue. The high here, Asia high, remains protected. Why does Asia high remain protected? Now, the next stage is me breaking down session inventory, because obviously we have multiple questions, right? And the questions are regarding Asia and London inverse. Okay, we have a scenario here: Asia and London inverse. The high is still pending. So how do we know if New York is gonna run into Asia high, or is it gonna continue to the downside? So we need to understand session inventory, Asia's inventory, London's inventory, and then the current session's inventory, which is obviously being built in real time. Okay, so in order to understand inventory, you need to understand delta. In order to understand delta, you need to be able to read, yeah, from 12 to 8, which is Asia. You need to be able to read first high, first low, and its breaches. There are gonna be two breaches, okay, two breaches up and two breaches down. Okay, there's only gonna be one discovery direction, so one discovery direction, and I'm gonna break down all of this so it makes sense, because this is the foundation in understanding session inventory. When you understand this, yeah, it's over. Honestly, guys, you know, when you understand what I'm about to show you, yeah, and you just keep practicing this, give it 3 days, give it, you know, maximum 3 days, and you should be able to grasp this sort of content. And when you see in real time, this inventory understanding, yeah, inventory understanding equals market truth, and market truth equals market moves. That's it. So allow me to show you how to first of all read the first high. Okay, you know that. Okay, so now you guys know how to mark out session low, session high, 12, 8, 1400. Make sure it's all transparent, yeah? I'm going to remove all of this for the time being, but just make a note of it. Pause the recording, make a note of it. Stage one is to investigate where the first high and the first low and its breaches are. So I'm going to remove this for the time being. And I'm going to take you step by step here. So this is a session high, session low, which is completely different from the first high and the first low. Okay? Cool. So I'm going to go over to the actual chart now, because you have to go over here, yeah, pull up gold Owanda feed. No other feed, just Owanda feed on gold. If you are looking at other asset classes, just choose Owanda broker feed. As you can see, I was using gold TVC, but I can't use it anymore. To mark out the first high and the first low, you have to open up your Owanda feed. So let's have a look. Session opens up at 12 o'clock. In order to identify the first low, yeah, you need to first of all look at this, which I'm going to show you right now. So the first low is simply candle one. I'm going to show you an example here. Okay, a random candle, yeah, candle one. Let's say we've got a tall candle as an example. I'm going to drag this here. Cool. So let's start with the first low. Now, in order to mark out the first low, yeah, you have to grab two candles, and the two candles, they both need to have flat bodies to the downside. And I did say at the start of the recording, it's all going to be just so simple, very basic, but powerful. So let's look. Let's have a look. Okay, let's look at Asia. Asia opens up at 12 o'clock over here. Okay, we need two candles with flat bodies facing to the downside, and it needs to happen from the opening. So luckily over here, you know, beautiful example, 12 o'clock is tagging 23.45, flat bodies to the downside. 1, 2. Zoom in, you can see, yeah, 12 o'clock, see, flat bodies to the downside. Candle 1, candle 2. But luckily, you know, Asia has printed its first low at the opening, and it makes it easier for us to just map out. So this is your first low here. 1, 2. Cool. 1, 2. You want to be very, very comfortable and familiar with the crosshair. The crosshair, you see the crosshair, yeah? This is how you get to what's that term? This is how you get close to being able to understand market participants and understand the market conditions. Okay, if you look at this, yeah, Asia short, Asia down. Now we don't know where Asia's inventory is unresolved, left behind, unresolved, or we just don't know if this move to the downside is a real move to the downside. So we need to understand micro market structures. In order to understand micro market structures, you need to come over here, yeah, session opening. Let's look at the first low and the first high. So in order to work your way into delta, yeah, you have to understand first low. So now we know first low, two candles, flat bodies to the downside, 1, 2. That's our first low. 1, 2. Candle 1 and candle 2. Both of these candles are crucial and important for the entire Asian session. Okay? Because the breaches are going to be, as you can see, line the crosshair up to the highest candle, first low. Zoom in if you have to zoom in. You see breach 1 above the candle that broke first low sits over here. 12:15. The candle that broke 12:15 is breach 2, 12:30. Now check this out. First low 23:45, 12 o'clock. That's your first low. Breach 1, breach 2. You see this is breach 2, yeah? 12:15, 12:30, breach 2. Cool. We have first low, we have upside breaches. Cool. Now let's find first high. As you can see, this is not your first high because we have uneven candles. We need 2 candles with flat bodies to the upside. Now over here, we have 1, 2 flat bodies to the upside. So guess what? We have first low, 23:45, 12 o'clock. Breach 1, breach 2. Excess candle, excess candle. 1, 2, 1:15 and 1:30 is our location for the first high. So now we have session first low, session first high. Cool. If you look over here, we have upside breaches pending for the first high. What does that tell us? That tells us that Asia has left unresolved inventory. Because when a session prints the first low, it needs to print 2 breaches to the downside and 2 breaches to the upside. So the first low here, 23:45 and 12 o'clock, prints breach 1 to the downside at 2:15. Line the crosshair up, 4 o'clock, breach 2 to the downside. So downside inventory resolved. Upside inventory resolved. First high prints, first high, breach 1, 2 o'clock, 2:15, breach 2. But upside has been left behind. So Asia high is going to be a magnet for further price action. This is why we can see London rotation. Okay, and this is when the 1.27 from New York low, New York low and New York high fib 1.27 was responsive because Asia has unresolved inventory over here. I'm gonna just do this over here. I'm gonna get the highlight and I'm gonna just draw this. Okay, Asia has left unresolved inventory. London opens up, rotates straight towards Asia high, passes over to New York. Now New York, there's a 95% probability that New York will pop into Asia high. We also earlier drew our fib from London high and London low, and the 1.80 and the 1.27 sits here as well, which is a reaction level. Do you see how we mapped out from a blank chart, yeah, a blank, a fresh blank canvas, and we just built our way, worked our way into understanding session inventory. Does that make sense? And we can read real volume and how it's obviously being positioned from the lows. And I'm also going to show you how to obviously find pinpoint entries, but this is just an overview of unresolved inventory being left behind. Okay, cool. So that's that. Now let's move over to finding the delta candle, which we need to use in order to take our trades. Let's go for it.